Hi everybody, it's Sally from Sally Stampers. Thank you for joining me today. Today I am bringing you a fairly simple but fairly cute hanging decoration, which I think you could probably make with children or a relative or someone like that, or obviously if you just wanted to make some yourself. You could make the loops slightly bigger and have them to hang off a wine bottle. They have quite a few uses, to be fair. I've gone back to using an old favourite of mine, which is Christmas pines and the Pretty Pine thinlets. I adored this last year when it first came out, and obviously as with probably most people, you get the new stuff and it's like new clothes. I think you buy new clothes and you tend to wear those, and yet you did have favourites prior to that you used to wear all the time, and I'm very similar in terms of my crafting supplies. So I love all the new stuff, and I have been playing with it such a lot, but I wanted to go back to an old favourite, and as I said, I've gone back to the Christmas pines, which I do absolutely love. And as I say, it's quite a simple little thing. It is just stuck on the back with tear and tape, but the way I've put it on, I'm going to have to get used to doing this because I keep forever doing stuff over here off camera, so I have to stretch my arms a bit more, I think. So yeah, the way I've stuck the tear and tape on here is just so that you can't see. Now, you could always, if you wanted to, add another circle of cardstock to the back just to hide that ribbon. But, you know, perhaps if you're giving it as a gift, but if they're hanging off your tree, or maybe off a branch that you've sprayed or something, then you might not need to do that. But obviously the option's there. So I'll show you how to make it, and like I said, it is pretty simple. I have die cut majority of the stuff ahead of time, again just because it'll take me forever and you'll just get bored. But as you can see, I've used the layered circle framelets, and that's the largest scallop in cherry cobbler, and then the next one down in whisper white, and it's just normal, not thick. I then have 2 sprigs of mistletoe in old olive, and then 2 what I call medium and 2 small pieces of the pine boughs. You get 3 different sizes in here. Pretty Pines, as I said, this is a favourite of mine, and when I first started, I used to just take them all off the sticky backing and just throw them in loose, and now I've realised that that's a nightmare because you're constantly having to empty them all out, look for what you want and throw them back in. But anyway, yeah, so you have well, as I say, I would class them as large, medium and small bough, and I've just used the small and the medium on this one. Obviously, like I said, once you get the gist of this, the world is your oyster, as they say. You could add to it whatever you wish. There's my mistletoe, and then you get a small, whoops, and a large cone, and then, oh, another mistletoe, I didn't realise there was 2. You get another beautiful little foliage piece here. 2 sized bows, so again, if you wanted to, you could always add a bow to the top. And then different options here for your pine cones. There is another one which I have here, and that's what I'm going to be doing with you, just to show you. But basically, 2 crumb cake out of the largest, I have to check, out of the largest framelet, and then this piece is the one I'm going to do with you. So I'm just going to pop these out the way while I get my big shot ready, because I don't want to be losing any. Oh, these are so delicate, you fold them the wrong way and they'll either bend completely or tear. So I'm going to throw all of that back onto there just for a moment. So this part of the thinlet is what creates this lattice effect, and it is beautiful, but obviously it's a pain to glue because you've got such fine pieces on it here that once you've die cut, it's almost impossible to get glue on. So I use the adhesive sheets. Now they do come, I've got mine here all in a big pile with all my offcuts. Let me just grab them. Oh heavens, throwing them everywhere now. They do come in sheets of this size, which are 12 by 6, so they're a really good size. You also get 12 inside. I don't even know if I've actually ever bought more than one pack. This may be my second pack, but I'm not 100%, so that just shows they last a very long time, and they are fabulous. Just put all my rubbish together out of the way. And so this is just an offcut that I've got, as you can see from other things that I've cut. And I've got my piece of Always Artichoke, and this is simply going to stick over the back of the card that I want to use. Now, I'll just grab the piece a smaller piece that I've got cut. As you can see, it says peel here. And basically this is to enable you to be able to peel the backing off, and this is all sticky. But obviously once you start cutting, you don't get that. However, it's not difficult to separate them, she says. Famous last words. No, there we go. So I simply peel the top piece off, or should I say peel it back, and then with my card, and again, I know that a lot of people sort of have a good side and a bad side depending on where you've cut, so the adhesive will go on what I would class as the bad side. So I don't know if you can see, but I used this yesterday and it's got all embossed patterns on it, so I don't really want to use that. So I'm going to put this right up to the edge onto both pieces, and then, as I say, you peel this back, unless you've got a tear in one piece, and then it doesn't help. There we go. And then you fold this back over. So I'm hoping, yeah, you can see from the light. You can now see where you've got that line. Now, unfortunately, I've not had a chance to clean my tear and tape scissors, so they're a bit gunky at the moment. But all you simply do is then just trim around the piece of cardstock that you've used. So I'm actually going to trim that off there, because, so I'm going to keep that, because as crazy as it sounds, I'm not so worried about that. So that backing comes off. I'm going to keep that because actually, if I wanted to, I could get another pine cone out of it. I generally don't throw anything like that away, other than that piece you just saw me throw away, which is a little too small to do anything with. You could do small snowflakes or things like that with it. So now that's stuck to the back. I'm not too worried about this bit here, because I know that my pine cones are going to fit in the gap anyway, and I need two. So simple as that. Bring in my Big Shot, and I'd be lost without these adhesive sheets. I've used so many over the time. They're fabulous. So, oops, as I can see from my, just a tiny bit of the adhesive sticking out there, that's where there's a bit missing. So I need to stick to the bottom, which is fine. So I'm just going to pop that one on there, and then we're going to run it through. As you can see, I've got my adapter in here, and I'm going to go through twice. Whew, seriously warped that one, hasn't it? And that just simply pops out, and then I'm actually just going to use my paper piercer here, and I just want to ease that whole thing out, and I'll show you why in just a moment. Oh, it's not going to happen. Come on, come on, come on, play nicely. Okay, so it's come off as I wanted it to. The backing's still on there, which is perfect. I just need to empty all of these bits into my bin, and I hope you've noticed and feel honoured that my Big Shot has had its quarterly clean of the year. I thought I'd better give it a quick clean before I used it, because it was getting pretty disgusting. And I'm just popping all these bits out of here. I did have a dye brush, but it literally died on me. I'll need to get a new one, just not got round to it yet, but I promised to get one, because that makes this job a lot easier. Right, come on bits, out you go. It's hard to see over the bin because my bin's black, so I need to do it over my, there we go, over my desk and my grid sheet, because then I can see better. And I always like to get all of the bits out, because I think otherwise it's potentially going to make doing the next one harder, because it'll already have bits in and it won't cut them properly. Right, so back in, and the other thing you'll find is that the bits, because they've got the adhesive on them, they just stick to you. So they are a little bit of a nuisance and they do stick to everything, but it's worth it for the project. It's always worth it for the project. Right, I'm not going to go through twice with this one because I don't need to worry about this one being as accurate. Right, let's get all this out of the way. So, bringing back in all of these die cuts. Stuff, it's stuck everywhere, look. Right, so, sorry, I've got bits stuck to me everywhere. So the 2 bits of crumb cake that I cut earlier, all you simply need to do, obviously with this one was the first one we did, peel the backing off and then obviously just make sure that you've got all the bits out now. They usually do just come off either A in one go or they'll stay with the backing. But sometimes, if like this one, they don't want to come out. There we go. So that one's out completely. No backing on that one. And then I just simply line the bottom and the top up. And that's it. So it's now completely stuck. Nice and clean. If you look on this one where I completely forgot, if you can see it shining where I've used snail, it just leaves, I suppose, almost like a web across, a web across the underneath, and it does make it look a bit messy. So let's see how we get on with this one. So let's try and pop some of these out. What you may find sometimes when you do this is that you'd be poking these out and then all of a sudden the backing just comes off, and that can be a little bit of a nuisance, which is why I always say do this bit when you're ready for sticking. You can't really pre-cut this bit because if the backing comes off, it does cause a little bit of a problem because you have to stick it straight away. Right, I think we're getting there. Last few bits, there we go. So I'll just get these ones out here. Okay, so put my die over there, put my rubbish off to one side, sticking everywhere. Okay, and again this one now has come completely clean. So I just take the backing off, which again will peel off very easily, and pop this one on here. And there's that one stuck. Perfect. So I just need to build this up. So I want to stamp on here first. So I'm using Christmas Pines, and I'm going to go with May the Simple Joy of the Season Be Yours. I previously used May Your Christmas Sparkle with Joy and Happiness. So I've gone for one a little bit different this time. And I'm just stamping in Cherry Cobbler again. So it's just the same. And obviously I want to sort of go up and to the right a little bit because I don't want it a bit too right. I think it's right on the edge, but never mind. And then just with some snail, I'm just going to adhere this onto here. Quite windy outside, and for some reason I've now got something squeaking, and I don't have a clue what because my window's closed, so I don't know what's squeaking, but something is. Okay, so that's the basic part, and then you just simply need to layer up these bits. So I have actually just used glue dots for these, so the larger ones I will put on first, and again I'm just literally sticking them. So you can still see glue dot, but you won't once it's stuck. And I'm just simply sticking them across the bottom here. And then this one sort of at a different angle there. And then exactly the same with the smaller ones. and then these just sort of get layered. Oops, don't stick to me. That will go there, and then this one can just sort of go wherever you want really, it's entirely your choice. And funnily enough, I do exactly the same with my mistletoe. I don't know why I keep forgetting the name of this, but I'm going to trim the stems slightly on this because I don't want them as long as that. So again, back in with a glue dot. And again, will all depend on what you're doing with this. So if you're gifting it, I would probably say add 1 or 2 more glue dots just so things don't fall off. Equally, you could use the adhesive sheets on these and maybe just get the adhesive sheet halfway so that obviously you don't have this bit with adhesive on. The smaller ones you could perhaps do full, but again, I don't know if I'd want them to lay flat because I think it would stop it looking more dimensional, if that even is a word. So I'm just going to stick that under there, and then this one I think can go there, and then just simply these cover the glue dots. So I'm only going to pop one on the back of that one, which I'm going to sit there, and then this one is actually going to have a couple on because I'm hoping it will stick there. And then my 2 final touches are some basic pearls, which I've again got bits cut here just to put on the mistletoe, and I just sort of popped these on randomly. It doesn't really matter where you put them. Oops. And then the last bit is my ribbon, and I'm using this beautiful cherry cobbler double stitched ribbon. So I measured roughly how much I want. Like I said, if you're using it on a wine bottle, you may want to make it a little longer, but that's about right for mine. So that's that bit, and then I looped this way so that I would get the stitching both sides, because if you loop it how it should be, it's a little bit unsightly when you've got lovely double stitching one side and across and then the lines. So and then I simply cut 2 lengths of town tape and one, no, it goes on the front, that's right. So one goes on the front there, and shush shush, and one goes on the other end. And then, as I said, I've overlapped it slightly to the right. So I'm just going to pop, if you do have any that's gone not straight like mine, just tuck it back over. I don't know what my dogs are doing, I do apologise. So I'm just going to stick that one there, and then this piece just take off and it will sit, oops, it's stuck to my fingers, alongside there. Now this one actually isn't as tidy as my original one, so I probably will put a piece of card on the back, but there's my loop and there are my decorations, and I think I actually might make some more and use them as gifts. Hope it's given you some inspiration. Just remember to be prepared for all these little sticky bits, and everything I've used is available in the annual or the seasonal catalogue. I hope you've enjoyed my project, and I hope to see you all again soon. Bye!